with breaking news out of Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah, you've likely heard development right now, a growing fallout over the FBI raid at former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. The historic development could signal the investigation into him entering a critical new phase. We have a live look right now at Mar-a-Lago. A source is telling NewsNation agents spent all day Monday looking for classified documents. The former president saying they even broke into his safe. New images of Trump supporters rallying outside of that resort, cheering, yelling, waving flags overnight. The former president was not at home when the raid happened. He was out of town, spotted outside Trump Tower in New York City. This morning, the former president is responding. So is the top Republican in the House, vowing to go after the Justice Department. We're breaking down all sides of the story, sticking to the facts. Our analysts are walking us through all the legal and political challenges ahead. Let's start with Brian Enton, live outside of Mar-a-Lago. Brian?
Adrienne, I'm told by a source that this raid has to do with the retention of classified documents, that there are accusations that President Trump took the classified documents from the White House back here to Mar-a-Lago. You mentioned it. Overnight, there were a number of Trump supporters out here outside Mar-a-Lago. They were waving flags and showing their support for the former president. A source tells me that yesterday the FBI showed up at 9 a.m., left at about 6:30 at night, so they were here for 9.5 hours. This was all top secret. Even the Secret Service was not notified until right before the raid happened. I am told that the FBI agents were not wearing their typical FBI jackets. There were no emblems, that they appeared to just be Secret Service agents, which is why the staff here at Mar-a-Lago likely did not know what was going on. And remember, Adrienne, there were no leaks really throughout the entire day while all of this was unfolding. I'm told that the search warrant was approved by the highest levels of the DOJ and that the Attorney General did know about all of this and approved all of this. Last night during a tele-rally for Sarah Palin, President Trump referenced what was happening at his estate.
Another day in paradise. This was a strange day. You probably all read about it, but very important. When I went out to Alaska, it seems like just yesterday what a place it was.
Okay, so President Trump released a statement after all of this went down, saying in part, after working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate, an attack by radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024. A raid like this on a former president's residence is unprecedented in American history. President Trump was not here at Mar-a-Lago when all of this unfolded yesterday. He was in New York City. Adrienne?
Brian, was the safe that agents broke into, was that a personal safe? What do we know about that?
Yeah, I am told by a source that it was a personal safe, that there is an office. President Trump has a personal office in what was formerly a bridal suite above the grand ballroom in Mar-a-Lago behind me. And I'm told that there is what was like a hotel safe in the wall. This wasn't some kind of big elaborate safe. It was a small hotel safe that the FBI agents busted into. I'm told by a source that it is not a safe that would typically hold any kind of documents.
Interesting. All right, Brian, thank you very much.
The search is just one of several investigations into the former president. Tom Dempsey is live outside the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C. with that part of our coverage. Tom?
Hey, good morning, Mitch. Yeah, this morning, the Department of Justice remains very tight-lipped about this search of the former president's home at Mar-a-Lago. But, Mitch, this all comes as, agents inside the Department of Justice building in D.C. continue to analyze and investigate how over a dozen boxes, each with classified information dating back to the former president's time and the White House, ended up all the way in Florida. This probe dates back to earlier this year when the National Archives reported retrieving 15 boxes of records from Mar-a-Lago with classified information inside. The National Archives says former President Donald Trump needed to hand over those materials after leaving the White House, and the National Archives later asked the Department of Justice to investigate the case. This most recent raid we're talking about this morning possibly involved the search search for more records like those. The former president and his team previously said all records got handed over in a routine process. But Mitch, as you were saying, the timing of all this is very interesting considering, the former president facing other notable investigations you can see on the screen right now. One about an intensifying investigation involving the Department of Justice also examining January 6th and the efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. Also one in Georgia involving a district attorney continuing to investigate whether the former president and others tried to interfere in the state's election back in 2020. But with all this still swirling around and, still waiting to get some details, answered with all this, Republicans have really rushed to the former president's side, including House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who tweeted out a message after details of this came down saying, if the Republicans win control of Congress later this year, he's going to call for full oversight of the Department of Justice. And he even gave a warning to Attorney General Merrick Garland, telling him to clear his calendar later this year. And again, that's if Republicans win control of Congress. Guys, a lot to follow with all this. The Biden administration saying that they did not know about this raid that was happening at Mar-a-Lago, but we're hoping to learn other information from the Department of Justice later today.
That is Tom Dempsey in front of the Department of Justice. Tom, thank you.
Legal analyst, thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.